Hi, I'm Barry Searle with the Southampton Public Safety Building Committee. On behalf of the committee's mission to educate the public, I have the task of informing the public of the current state of our police and fire departments. Your committee asked Acting Fire Chief Fasoli to give you the facts regarding our current fire station, and also Police Chief Ian Illingsworth to give you the facts regarding the current state of the police department. Let's take you with Denise Riggs, who's touring both departments.
Hi, I'm Denise Riggs, and I've been a resident of Southampton since 2013, and I'm here with...
My name is Ian Illingsworth. I'm the police chief in the town of Southampton. I've been a chief for about 5 years and have worked in the capacity of a police officer in this building for about 30.
Could you please tell me the process of removing a person in custody out of a cruiser?
Sure. In this particular building, we have to remove the person outside of the building from the vehicle. We do not have what current and more up-to-date police facilities have, is what they commonly refer to as a sally port. We do not have that here, so we actually have to take the person out of the cruiser outside the police department and walk them in through our booking room.
Well, that doesn't sound safe.
It is not safe, and there's also privacy issues. Certainly not safe because it allows somebody an escape opportunity because it's not secure, and if privacy as well. We need to protect the privacy of
Sure.
anybody that we bring into the into custody. In particular, if there's a reason that the person is a juvenile, well, we don't arrest juveniles. It's very infrequent that we do, but for violent crimes we may have to, and that their identity needs to be protected.
Okay. Thanks.
Let me show you the booking room. Denise, this is our booking room. It's also, you can consider it an intake room. This is where we would take everybody's information that we bring into the station that's in custody.
Okay.
The person in custody would remain here, and they'd be handcuffed to this rail, and the officer, the booking officer, the intake officer would be behind this panel, and behind that panel is just a computer where they intake all their information.
Okay.
They also, this is where the person would be afforded their rights, as well as if they need to make a phone call, would be right in this room. This is also a room where we make sure that the person in custody doesn't have any weapons on them or anything that would harm us or that particular person in custody.
Okay. And are there safety precautions here or safety measures?
There are. So this room is where it is simply because this is where it had to be. This is not the opportune space for a booking process because, as you'll see as we proceed with the tour, the corridor, this leads right to the corridor of the main building, and that's not a safe area. It's not a secure area.
And again, not private.
And not private as well. In this particular case, what we do is we secure the person here, we take their information. When that's done, we would fingerprint them on a machine over there. One thing else you should notice here is this door and the access is not ADA compliant. And if there was a situation where we had to bring somebody to the police department that had was in custody and had ambulatory concerns, or they needed assistance for walking, this would be a very challenging room, as well as the process to take them to the cell block for security.
Would you still try to do it, or do you have to take them someplace else?
We would have to. We'd have to make alternative means. We wouldn't be able to keep them here.
Okay.
Okay. So once intake is complete, we then bring that person to the cell block, and I'll show you where that is.
Okay.
And as we walk through here, this is the main corridor of the police department. Okay, and as we walk into the main corridor, watch your step here. This is particularly concerning for us, especially with somebody that's in custody, if they're non-compliant, or, again, we wouldn't be able to bring somebody through here if they were non-ambulatory, they couldn't walk. Keep note that this is also the main corridor of the building.
Okay.
So watch your step as you walk through.
Sure, thank you.
And here is the cell block. Denise, this is the concerns about this cell block. The cell block is, as you can see, it's very small and tight quarters.
Very tight, yes.
And as a result of that, officers have to be very cautious with people, again, non-compliant people. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does. And these tight quarters could cause for somebody, either the officer to get injured as well as the person that is in custody. Also, what you know is that we are right at the corridor of the building. So this cell block is essentially in the hub of the police department. And that is not a good scenario when we are bringing people that are victims of potentially the perpetrator that's in the cell by the cell block.
Sure.
They shouldn't have to be exposed to that.
Okay. So where would you like to bring me next?
Let me show you to the operations room where the officers conduct most of their business while in the station.
Okay, all right.
And we're going to go right down to the middle hallway and then take a right. And this is the operations room. This is where the officers would type their reports as well as do any update on follow-up cases.
And what is this area?
This is, these are our radios. This is a port for our tasers and our flashlights as well. This building was essentially designed as a municipal office in the late 60s and early 70s. And so it is not compatible with today's infrastructure, IT infrastructure in particular. And as you can see, all the outlets here have to be almost look like overloaded just to accommodate the electronics that officers use on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious how non-compliant it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we have to interview somebody, whether it be a victim, a witness, or even a suspect of a crime, we would interview them in our interview room. And let me show you where that is.
Okay.
Denise, this is our interview room. And in here we interview, like I said, our witnesses, suspects, as well as victims. The issue with this room is its location. It's functional, however, its location within the building is not appropriate. Again, we have to walk members of the public through the hub of our police department, which goes by our operations room where there's privacy concerns because it's our operations room. And also, we're within sound of people in the cell. And to bring the person through to come to this room, they have to walk by those cells, as I mentioned before. They can also hear the person from the cells. And if the person, again, is non-compliant or argumentative, they're hearing the person that may have just perpetrated the crime against them.
Something I wouldn't even have thought of, but yeah. So again, security issues, privacy issues.
Security and privacy issues, that's right. Let me show you our evidence room.
Okay.
This room right here is our evidence and property room. Everything that is taken into the custody of the police department, whether it be evidence or lost property, found property, we have to inventory it and secure it into a secure room that only a certain amount of officers have access to. Yep. This is our main one, and then as you can see here, this is an overflow.
And basically closets?
These were closets, yes. In fact, these were built by us at some point within the last 20 years. And this is, well, the concerns here is this is wooden door. That's a wooden door. So there's drugs, there's money, there's valuables, jewelry, and the integrity of the custody of our property is very important, whether it's evidence or someone's missing property or lost property or found property, rather.
So what are some of the concerns you have about that property?
Well, because this is makeshift, it's not adequately ventilated, and the ventilation can cause mold. In particular, if we were to seize, let's say, a large quantity of illegal marijuana, and we had to store it as evidence. Well, that, as you know, is organic. It can rot. And if it rots in here, it can create mold, and we do not have adequate ventilation. And that mold can be hazardous to the police officers.
And what about your case? There goes the case, too, if the evidence is destroyed.
It could impact it. It could impact it, yes.
Yeah.
Let me bring you to the locker rooms.
Okay. Right behind me.
Yep. So follow that room there.
What are these for?
These are actually the evidence lockers. So if somebody were to obtain evidence during their shift, this is temporary storage for the evidence. And they put the evidence in here. The evidence control officers or property control officers would then transfer the evidence from here or property into the evidence room. In a more modern facility, these are actually incorporated into the evidence room itself. So you don't have to make that secondary transfer.
So you just don't have the room.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And as you can see, this is the locker room. And
Okay.
originally, this was just a storage room. However, we needed that space for the officers to keep their gear. And it's not designed to be a locker room. There are no showers, there are no restrooms or anything along those lines. And you can note that it's a very tight quarters. And for instance, there's no bench for the officers to sit down and maybe put their patrol boots on. Again, it's just not. It's a storage area for their uniforms. But it doesn't serve as a locker room.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very convenient to not
No.
even have a bench or a bathroom.
Exactly. Okay, Denise, I'll show you the rest of the police department in the upstairs portion of it.
Oh, there's a second floor.
There
huh?
is. There is.
Okay.
After you. Okay, so upstairs is there's my office, my lieutenant's office, and some other rooms that are required to have at a police department. But take note, we had to walk up these stairs. We have no elevator here. My office is on the second floor. So if somebody were to come and see and speak with me, I have to meet them down in a room that might not be private. If they want to talk to me in private, I have to bring them down to an area that is, again, exposed by the main corridor of the police department where other officers are walking by, sometimes members of the public.
And I'm assuming there's no elevator.
There is no elevator.
Okay,
No,
okay.
there is no elevator.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want you to note that I didn't note earlier is you can tell that there's carpet. The building is primarily all carpet. And carpet, as you know, is not probably functional. It's not functional for a police department. It's the things that we have to walk in.
I never would have thought of that.
You know, whether it's a motor vehicle crash and we're walking chemicals from the car, whether it's biohazards that we step in at times, we track that into the police department. And this is not a material that can be cleaned appropriately.
Okay, so not very sanitary.
It's not.
Yeah, okay.
Denise, to the left here is my office as well as my lieutenant's office. If you recall, the administrative assistant is at the beginning, is the polar opposite of this building. They're at the opposites of the building. And for my assistant
Way
to be
downstairs
way
and- yeah,
downstairs,
okay.
so that does not create the best working environment for two individuals that work side by side for the administration of the police department.
Sure.
We're at opposite ends. And,
Very inconvenient.
And if you were to go back and try to figure out, well, let's put the police chief's room somewhere else, there is no space because of the cell blocks and because of the booking area.
Okay.
So this was the only place we could have.
Okay, and
for my
bringing
office.
that office up here wouldn't work either?
Certainly not. No, we don't have room. We don't, because
Okay.
that's also the reception.
Right.
So
they have to be there.
Yes, the
Okay.
administrative assistant acts as the reception in the lobby when the lobby's open.
Okay.
Let's finish the tour.
Okay.
So as we walk down here, just put the light on here for you. As we walk down here, this is my detective's office. In here is our records office. Again, the records should be closest to the administrative assistant.
Makes
She
sense.
needs access to the records. This is our equipment room, just various equipment. This is our evidence processing room. And keep in mind that all these rooms have a function, every one of them. So we can't do without these rooms. They're required. They're something, we have to have a secure records room. We have to have a secure evidence processing room. And here is our training room. This formerly being the town hall, this is where the select board would meet prior to the town hall's conversion. And this is also where voting would take place prior to the town hall being moved over across the street.
So what type of training takes place here?
In this particular room, we do all in-house training within our department. We can't hold it outside of the department because, again, we are not ADA compliant. So we can't have people invited into this building if we're non-compliant with ADA standards.
And why would you want to invite other people to host or other officers to host?
It's actually cost effective. A lot of times the vendors for the training will provide us with free cost training if we host it. And therefore I can send more officers to training at no cost if we host it here.
Makes total sense. Thank you so much for your time, Chief.
You're
I really
welcome,
appreciate
Denise.
it.
Thank you for coming, and I hope this was informative.
Very, very. Well, thank you again. And I'm going to head over to the fire station to have a tour with Chief Fasoli.
on in.
Hi, I'm Denise.
Hi. My name's Rich Fasoli, interim fire chief.
So, Chief, this looks like a historical building.
Yes,
Is it?
it is. It was originally a one-room schoolhouse. It was built in 1863. The two center bays are from the original schoolhouse. The
okay.
two in bays and the back office were built in the 1970s.
Okay.
Outside, when you came in, I don't know if you noticed, the bricks are falling off. There's cracks in the walls. The roof in the back leaks.
What are the cracks from?
Just old age.
Okay.
There's no insulation anywhere in the building, so it gets pretty cold and drafty in here. We use a lot of money during the winter for heat.
A lot of taxpayer money.
Yes, a lot of taxpayer money. Our heating bills are fairly expensive.
Okay. So, what area are we in right now?
This is the ambulance bay, our primary ambulance, A1. A2 is tucked in behind it. We have to back them up right up next to each other. There's a block of wood on the floor. As you'll see when we go farther, that we cannot, we have to have it at a certain spot so they don't bang into each other. That's to prevent vehicle damage. Here is the original school, the foundation. They're all trip hazards here. There's limited space to actually restock the equipment or do any kind of training in here. We have to bring the equipment outside.
Yes, it's very tight.
We can't do anything in here.
Yeah. So does this ambulance ever have to go out without that one? Like, how do you
Right,
maneuver
this
that?
ambulance goes out first, and then if there's another call, the second ambulance would go out.
Okay, okay.
So if you're coming in on fire call, you would come in through the door, come down here, you'd come into this area. So this is our locker area where everybody keeps their turnout gear. When there's a fire call, everybody rushes into this area. We have issues with guys on top of each other,
I'm sure.
trying to put their gear on. There's two sets of gear in each locker, so we try and stagger it to people that are on the day shift or people that are coming in at night, so they're not trying to go into the same locker. We come in farther. There's limited space to move in here. To get into the fire trucks, we actually have to pull them outside, and then the guys will get in the truck outside, just for safety reasons, because it's so tight in here. We don't want anybody to get hurt.
There must be some delay in time with you having to do that.
Yes, there is, because you have to get into this truck, you have to actually go into the other bay, around, and then in through the driver's door.
So what are all these boxes above the lockers?
These are all different supplies and equipment. We have everything in storage bins as much as possible. We also have a trailer out back that is full of equipment. We just don't have enough space here in the station. As you'll see, it's moving on. Well, there's more lockers on the other side that hold our extra gear. Again, you can't get to the lockers unless you pull the truck out. So we can continue on.
So after a fire call, Chief, how do the officers clean their gear?
The firefighters, we have to take our gear to Easthampton. We currently do not have any gear washing equipment here. So after a call, they have to take their gear apart, bring it to Easthampton, wash it, dry it, and then bring it back, put it back together. So in that case, these guys are without gear if another call comes in.
And extra time and extra money, I would assume.
Right. To bring the gear up there, wait for it, come back. So there's always a time frame there, yes. So moving here, as you can see, to get into the fire trucks, we have to walk past engine 4 into engine 3 bay.
I don't think I could fit down there.
To get into engine 4, you can see that the door does not open all the way. So the driver cannot put gear on to get into the truck, to get out the door. He has to put his gear on after at the scene.
So, Chief, I heard about a grant that you were writing for a new truck.
Yeah, there's a grant committee through Town Hall that is trying to write a grant for a new tanker. Most of our town has no hydrants, so a tanker would be very beneficial to the town. If we're fortunate enough to get the tanker, one of our fire trucks here would have to be stored at our other station down on Bleemer Road. If that's the case, then there'll be a delay getting the second fire truck because of the location. There's myself is the only one that lives down that area. Everybody else lives closer to the center of town to this station.
Okay.
We'll move on to our FEMA trailer.
Okay.
It's where the guys, our crew stays at night.
Oh, all right.
So
Thank
just
you.
watch your step. So this is our FEMA trailer. This overhang here is just to keep everybody out of the weather. It's not heated. It was built after the trailer. Mm-hmm. We actually had to take out a window and put the door into the wall. There was no door there previously. So the crew would come up the stairs into the trailer. So at nighttime, our crew would stay in here. We have 2 bedrooms, a small kitchen area. We have laundry set up, but it's for uniforms. It's not for turnout gear. So we have a small bathroom here. There's a small bedroom on the end. So all the crews have their gear in bins. So everybody keeps their bedding in separate bins.
Okay.
As they work the night shift, they would come in and make up their beds.
And how long would they typically stay here?
The night crew is here for 14 hours,
Okay.
6 p.m. to 8 a.m. This is a smaller bedroom, just basically a cot is in here.
Yeah.
Finally, our last room is the medical storage closet. As you can see, it's pretty tight in here. We got more storage bins with all our medical supplies, training supplies.
So where would this equipment be stored in a modern facility?
Modern facility, it would be right off the ambulance bay for restocking purposes. Right now, they have to go from the ambulance all the way through the bays into the trailer, get their stuff, and bring it all the way back out. It's not a speed factor here. It's more of a convenience. That the issue is, now you're tracking in and out.
And is people sleeping here?
Well, the crew on duty would be doing the
that.
restocking,
Okay.
so there'd be nobody sleeping.
Okay.
So 2 years ago, we had a major roof leak in here in the trailer. We had to replace all the walls were replaced. We had to have a company come in and remove all the mold and insulation, had to have all that replaced. Again, it's an old FEMA trailer, so it's dated. There's not a lot of space here to do any kind of training. In a modern station, you'd have a full-size training room. Everybody would have bunk rooms.
Okay.
We can move on to the office in the back room. So we'll move on to the office in the day room. Watch your step.
Thank
We'll
you.
go into the office area now. So this is the office area. Our bathroom here, it's a small bathroom from the 70s. There's no hot water. The heater for this back area doesn't work. We have electric heaters that we use off the ceiling.
Okay.
In here is considered the day room. We have the day crew does their paperwork here on the computer, do some online training here. If we're going to do any kind of training at all as a group, we usually go over to Town Hall and use one of the training rooms over there.
Because you need the room?
Yes.
Okay.
Back here is our office. This is the chief's office. There's not a lot of space here. But we have a part-time administrative assistant, but she has no desk space in here. So what happens is she either has to work out at the other computer or she works over at the police station.
Okay.
You can see our ceiling has fallen down from roof leaks. There's some mold up there. We have ceiling damage over here. In the past, we've had a fire upstairs in the attic. This was a couple of years ago. It was an electrical fire. Fortunately, the crew was here and was able to put it out right away.
It's kind of ironic, a fire in a fire station.
Yes.
Sure, you've heard that one before.
Okay, well, you've seen the whole station. So before you go, you can see the back of A2, how close it is to the wall.
Okay.
So as you can see, it's right up close to the wall. To get into this cabinet, you have to actually walk by to be able to put gear in or out, supplies. So there's not a lot of space in the bays to restock the ambulance. So as you can see, the ambulance is gone now in our floor. The water comes up through the floor, and heavy rains, it usually it gets flooded here. It's not off the equipment, it's more water coming up out of the floor.
Oh, wow.
We've tried to seal the drain multiple times, but the water just keeps coming up.
Okay.
So to get out the door, you have to push the exit button. We have to keep the doors locked because of the medications on the ambulances. So you've seen a tour of the whole station?
Well, I really appreciate your time. Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
All right, you take care.
Thanks, will do. So thanks for coming on these tours with me. You've seen both buildings now. I appreciate your time, and back to the studio.
Thank you, Denise. These are the current conditions of the Southampton Police and Fire Departments. This is what they go through to make the public safe and to do their jobs to the fullest. I'm Barry Searle, and thank you for watching.